I'm live. I'm finally live. Who do I invite? I'm inviting someone. You know who I'm going to invite for my live?
Yoho!
How's it going?
It's good, man. How are you?
I'm awesome. Nervous.
Is this your first? I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. Is this your first live?
No, it's probably my second or third.
All right, there you go. Great.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised so many people are watching. So, yeah, the book. Do you want to just jump right into it?
Whatever you want, man. Your show. I'm just here for the ride.
All right. So, for everyone watching, this is kind of just an interview regarding Evan's new book, Built to Serve. I reviewed it. I had some questions about it in my review. It was a really, really, really specific critique. It was a really unique one. I don't remember the last time I ran into that through a book. And he was like, I mean, when I reached out to him, I feel like sometimes I kind of bombard authors with questions and regarding their books on my Instagram story, and I'm very curious about all of this. So, how's the book promo going? First off,
Well, it's going. I can't do speaking or my usual tour stuff, so we're doing it all remote. But what I love Sam was he posted. I don't know if it was a story or a post. I think it was a story. He posted an Instagram story that's saying, "Why has nobody reviewed Built to Serve yet? I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna be the first to review it." And then like a week later, the video was out, and it was awesome. And he put it on his YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. And he had a couple of comments on there. So I said, "Hey, why don't if you got questions? Let's just hop on an Instagram Live and turn it into something." So we're here. It's happening.
yeah. Okay, so I mean, the question I had, because the book was so cool. I just finished listening to I re-listened to the last part. I'm sure you remember how hype I was about that. The last part, for anyone watching hasn't checked out the book, check out the book. It's called Built to Serve. His most recent book was called Your One Word. Built to Serve is about like how to turn your passion into profits. And if you don't know what your passion is, how exactly to find it. There's a brief summary of Your One Word in the beginning of it. And yeah, so I mean, like the last section of the book was incredibly impressive to me, because I've taken courses so far on YouTube channel growth from Sean Candlewood with Think Media. I don't know if you're aware,
Yeah, I know, Sean.
familiar with it. Yeah, there was another guy from about Instagram, like influencer connection and like story selling, named Craig Ballantyne. He's getting bigger, but a lot of the stuff that I learned from those courses, and it's not eerily similar, but it just surprised me that such like accessible information in the book was available throughout was available is available in courses like that. There are people probably charging thousands and thousands of dollars for that. So what really did the furthest thing from disappoint me was the last part. I don't think it could be stressed enough.
I do. I love it. I love the energy. I love your excitement for it. It's great. I wrote it. Yeah. So this is what I've seen a lot is so I go through the process, who I have, and in that, that's usually an eye-opening experience for a lot of people if you haven't done anything like that before. But then what? Like, there's so many. What really frustrates me is seeing purpose-driven entrepreneurs who then can't make a business happen, and so you're ending up doing it on the side and kind of part-time. Even like I've been diving into the book community a little bit, and seeing so many people who are in the book world, reviewing books and trying to spread the mission of growth and learning and personal development. And but for a lot of people, it's still just a part-time thing that they're kind of doing on the side. And like, I want you to do it full time. Imagine you can do it full time and then build a team and scale this up and the impact that you could have. And so I come across, because of my message, believe and everything, I come across so many purpose-driven entrepreneurs who want to do good but don't know how to turn it into something that can make them money. And I want to teach them. So the book at the end, that part that you love so much. It's funny because most people freak out about the first part. The who I have, people like freak out over the first part, and the last part is like, oh, okay, that's cool. I can apply it, but they're crying in the first sections. So I love it. I mean, I think also because of how much you read and how much you go through and how much you invest in. Some of the stuff might be either repetition or just approaching an angle that you've already heard. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I want people to get results. I want people to move forward. I want even after seeing your review, you had some questions like, oh, I want to answer the questions. How can I help? Right.
And like looking back at them, it does make sense. These the like questions I had about it. There in the book, for anyone watching, I hope you guys, by the way, are staying safe. I hope you guys are having an awesome, productive quarantine. If there's
dude,
something
it's snowing right now. Where are you? Where are you based? Where do you live?
Easton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, not that far from me. I'm in Toronto, and it's snowing right now.
Toronto? I thought it was New York or LA or something. I know there are lots of people. So many big YouTubers in LA and New York.
No, I live in Toronto. I'm going to show you. I live in Toronto. I mean, I'm in New York and LA a bunch. My agent's in New York, but I live in Toronto. And I don't know if you can see outside, but it's snow. There's snow coming down.
That's crazy. It snowed here the other day. I was very surprised.
Oh, I lost you. Hold on. There we go. Bring that back up.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
For anyone watching,
stay safe.
The book is divided into three. There's kind of a fourth section. To me, it was a fourth section. This is like there was like the why was first, I believe. And
who I have.
Yeah, the who. Oh yeah, there's who, which is basically like who you are, and then there's why, which is why you're here, what you're exactly built to do. A lot of it actually, like somewhere between the who and the why, I did sort of find a lot of what. And then there's the how, which is how to make all of it happen. My favorite book ever, anyone who watches, like, I can't go like 3 or 4 reviews without mentioning it, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And he stresses a lot in that book the desire to actually like be helpful and be of useful service to people. Mm-hmm. Listening to that part, because I'm an excessive, like, I don't have a book. My bookshelves have like my girlfriend's moving in. They have like cologne and perfume. There's no books at all. It's just like clothes. It's all audiobooks that I listen to. So yeah, I wasn't sure. My sort of critique was that I wasn't exactly sure where. Like, how concretely the line is meant to be drawn between why and who. I was like, is this? I'm sure you probably remember the moment in the review, maybe not. I was just like, well, it's almost as if because Evan said he's a visual learner, and I am too. The way I'll put it this way. It's kind of like Evan is holding an umbrella, and the chance of him not getting his point across is all of the rain. And under the umbrella, he's holding it, but around him, under the umbrella, trying to stay dry, is the who, the why, the book's contents, basically. And it would make sense, for whatever reason, for all three of them, the who, the why, and the how, to stay, like, as compartmentalized and just kind of like divided from each other as possible, for the sake of clarity. I mean, throughout the book, I think especially in the beginning, he does talk. I mean, you do talk a lot about like the importance of clarity, but how is a very methodological. I think that's a word. Methodological section of the book, and why and how are they're a lot more psychological. They're a lot more mindset based. What I'm wondering is, because like the line between those two is not really as concretely drawn, at least that I found, as like those two and the how. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're definitely related. I mean, I wrote it. I think So as I help people, that sequence seemed to get people the furthest along in terms of getting results and clarity. So my language is who I have, but if you're looking at it through kind of what most people would say, it's core value and purpose. The who is your core value, the why is your purpose. So we're teaching core value, helping you uncover your core value and your purpose. And they're definitely related.
Yeah, it's just like, it's very like, one of them is more of, it seems like the purpose is a little bit more tangible, but like if mine is, or if yours is believe per se, and you're trying to get people to believe in themselves, it's kind of like you're becoming so, like, in throughout the first maybe section or two of the book, you're becoming so, it's kind of about becoming so sold on yourself after, for lack of a better word, discovering more about yourself and who you are, that it's kind of like what you basically, what you see as valuable and what you value overall, your core value, is what you are ultimately going to convince the all your followers to, and the people who you're serving, to eventually, like, to see kind of as their value. And it's almost like it's not a winner take all market per se, but it's very interesting how those are, like, to think of how exactly those are separated from each other.
So look at it through. What did you come up with? What's your who? What's your most important core value?
Shit, I forget. If the most important core value, that's not the one word, is it?
Same thing, all related. Yeah. One
okay.
word, most important core value, who, just different labels.
Growth. Mine's growth.
Growth. So already knowing that your most important core value is growth gives you clarity for the rest of your life. Like when you're 95 years old, you're still going to care about growth.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you know what? Once I hit 40, I stopped caring about growth. Like you're always going to care about growth. And whenever you're not happy, it's because there's no growth happening in your life. So if you look back to like moments where you are not happy, or if you ever feel stuck or lost or slow, it's because you're not growing somewhere. And the easy way out is growth. You're moving, your girlfriend's moving with you, like super exciting, interesting times. Growth doesn't have to be her most important core value, but she better respect it. Like if she doesn't care about growth, or if she's anti-growth, like you're not going to be together, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean that it's her who, but it's something that she also values as well. And so it becomes the lens through which you see the world. So if you're gonna, as you build and grow your business, if you hire a video editor who's now going to edit the videos for you, or you hire somebody to do graphic design for you, or whatever, like as you build and grow your business, that video editor, that graphic designer better have the skills in Photoshop or whatever program they're going to use, but also better care about growth. They have to care about growth, because otherwise they're not going to be a fit with you. It's not just about can they make something look nice on screen. They have to care about the same things that you care about. And it's less about trying to convince them to care about it, and more about trying to bring on people who do care about it. I would much rather you find somebody to do Photoshop who also cares about growth than for you to find a super talented Photoshop person and then teach them to care about growth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's your core value that will not, that will stay with you forever. Like you'll still care, again, when you're 95, you'll still care about growth. And that's great awareness. And knowing, like, if you do you know what your girlfriend's core value is?
No, I'm still figuring that out. It'd be nice if it's growth.
Well, this is great for relationships. Like if she ever wants something to happen for you, it has to be through the lens of growth. If her most important core value is loyalty, or honesty, or truth, right? It's not that you don't value honesty or truth, but when you're talking to her, you know how to convey a message in a way she's going to understand it, because you want to put on the hat of honesty and truth. You might not tell somebody normally this thing, but because she values honesty so much, you're going to, because that's what she cares the most about. So it allows, when you know you're who, it allows you to make better decisions for you, but also the people around you in relationships and team. It's less about convincing them that your way is right, and more about understanding what they care about so that you know how to help them get what they want too. The why is then purpose. So like that comes from pain. So why do you do this? I mean, it's definitely tied to growth, but it has to come from a place where you felt like there was no growth.
Yeah. Lots of loneliness, a childhood of loneliness, lots of years and hours and hours and hours spent alone in my room just surfing the internet, not knowing exactly what information is the most valuable, that's actually like worth, not just worth checking out like in the moment, but most worth checking out in the long run. So I've put lots of thought into technology, the information age. I do I do reviews in the, my main thing is, what's yours? Is it to help 1 billion people or 1 billion entrepreneurs? Yeah, mine is to make self-growth normal. And what that's going to require is just a lot of things as far as I know.
Yeah. So that's it. So it's definitely tied to your value. Right? You run through growth. Everything that touches growth, you're going to feel happy about. Anything that's not growth related, you're going to not feel so happy about. People who are anti-growth or stuck in there, you're not going to want to connect with them nearly as much. But then how do you apply that growth? Well, the people who you'll connect the most with are the people who are what you used to be, who feel like self-growth is not normal, who feel lonely and isolated and don't have parents who are, teaching them and educating them and investing in them. Those people, it's why you do the content you're doing. Like, you struggled with what is the right information. Well, you're sharing it, you're reading it, and then you're creating reviews to help people who also have that same problem of not knowing what the right information is.
That does make a lot of sense, actually.
So they're connected, but it's not the same thing. Like, growth is what you do, but growth could be anything. Growth doesn't have to mean making self-growth normal. Growth could be just you going off and going to seminars and workshops and reading on your own. You want to share it because you felt lonely as a child and had to go to the internet to find resources and felt frustrated and not knowing what to trust. You want to help other people like that. It's not that you can't help somebody who's in their 70s learn something. You'll still love it because it's still growth, but it's not the same. Like, if some 14-year-old kid comes up to you and says, "Sam, man, I've just felt like a loser and I had no love and I didn't know what to do, and I watched your videos and you helped me turn my entire life around. Thank you, man." That's going to just mean so much more to you, because that's who you were, compared to some 65-year-olds who still loves your videos, and like, you love serving and love helping, but when you help somebody who is what you used to be, it's entirely different. So growth is great, but growth can mean a lot of things. Growth for you is this. And so that's where the why comes in. Your why is going to be different than my why. It's going to be different than your girlfriend's or somebody else's. It could have been growth through music. Like, maybe music is the thing that saved you, and now all of a sudden you have a music channel teaching people how to play piano.
How did you pick up with that? How did you know about that? Did you watch any other reviews?
No, man, just feeling it.
You're just kind of guessing, or just as an example?
Yeah.
Oh, because I made music like alone for 3 years. I dropped 6 entirely self-produced EPs. I remixed lots and lots and lots of songs. It was entirely like self-made rap and singing, and it was like rap, pop, and EDM music. I'm convinced that I was better at making music than anything else I've ever done in my life, and I've tried quite a few things, but
my stuff is still on iTunes. The beats in the backgrounds of my videos, I made all of them like a year ago at least.
So why'd you stop?
I realized where the music industry was going, and I also realized that the reason I was doing music in the first place, it was more like I started making music because I was just incredibly passionate about it. And eventually, the more I started learning about myself, listening to audiobooks and the like, the more I realized that like there's something more than just passion here. There has to be like a really, really deep reason why I'm doing this. And I learned more about myself, and then I started learning more about the music industry, and I was like, I do not belong here. I'm looking at like my like in the Think and Grow Rich, the whole like invisible counselor table. My invisible counselors are like, they're like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, who else? Tim Cook, from the Apple CEO, for anyone who doesn't know, and Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone. So these people are ginormous thinkers. At the peak of his wealth in 2018, Jeff Bezos could afford to buy 10 music industries. The size of the music industry, and it's not just the size, it's also the I think solvency is the word of the music industry. It's shrinking violently. It's taken hit after hit after hit, and it is dying. The amount of attention that's going toward it is one thing, but the amount of money that's going toward it and coming out of it is very, very, it's disheartening compared to lots of other industries. I refused to go from music into another industry, however, that I wasn't incredibly passionate about. So I decided to just, I already listened to 200 audiobooks about self-growth, business, and technology. Figure I may as well apply the course contents that I learned to growing my influence from there. Because making self-growth normal, I didn't realize until maybe a year or so ago, and I started making music about 2 years before that. Before I realized it was self-growth, I wanted to make it normal. It was kind of like I'm trying to redirect. It was like, how am I going to like recalibrate the direction of modern culture? And it was complicated. Anything that's very simplistic, that's really like well thought out to other people, chances are a lot of shit went into that. So,
well, listen, if your music isn't going anywhere, music isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to shift, and the business models right now may not be to your liking, but if you want to shift culture, music is instrumental in shifting culture.
It is.
So it doesn't mean that you go necessarily all in back to music, but if I'm you, I would explore, how do I bring music into what I'm doing? So I wouldn't see them as two separate things, because there's lots of guys who do book reviews.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I keep my beats in the background of my videos, and that's also it's also a huge reason why I'm keeping all my music and everything on my channel as well. I do miss making music. I can't listen to music without wanting to make it because of how strong that affinity.
If I'm you, I bring it in. Like, why not have a rap at the end of it? Why not do on your Built to Serve review? Why not end with a rap about it?
It's not the main. It's just not the main focus right now. But all of the stuff that I was making music about, by the way, is like all of the stuff that I was
of course.
Learning about.
Anything you touch is going to be growth.
I do intend to start making music again, possibly at some point. Yeah. So
this is going to be the unlock for you and for so many people, is that those combinations of talents is what makes you special.
Yeah.
It's not seen as lots of people are doing book reviews and lots of people are making songs, but people aren't doing them together. And it's awesome that you're putting your own beats and stuff in the background, but the fact that you want to get back to music, it's like, how do I not see these things as separate things, but as the same thing? Then nobody can touch you. Then you're unique. And you may not fit into the typical model, but awesome that nobody fits into a typical model.
Yeah.
So that's what I would be exploring. I mean, it's all through growth. It's all by helping that 12 or 14-year-old kid 16-year-olds, whatever, not feel isolated and alone for wanting to better themselves, and then hitting them with as many messages as possible. I think music is a great way to do it. I wouldn't go all in on it, but I wouldn't also shut it out and say someday I'm going to come back to it, because a lot of people leave those some days till too late, and it's in that combination that you're going to be unique and different. There's a guy, I know I got to pop for another call, but there's a guy named Lear Jetta who just launched a song called New Friend, and it's the theme song for my top 10. If you ever watch the top 10 videos that I put up, there's a theme song at the beginning, and he changed the lyrics for my video to be around top 10 because his song was talking about something totally different. But even things like that, like I put that song at the beginning of so many videos, millions of people have heard it because of,
yeah,
right? And he wrote a song for personal development. Like it's against all my videos. Who's the artist or the rapper or the singer or the guitarist who's making content around personal development for thought leaders? Like maybe that's your unique little crazy talent that then ends up blowing up. I don't know. But seeing them as something that you need to grow and build something that only you can do in that combination that nobody else can look at is how you're ultimately going to win. And I'm pumped. I just started following you on Instagram, so I'm pumped to see your journey, man.
I definitely am too.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, I got to pop, but thank you for the love and the time and energy and the review, and excited to see where you take all this, man. Thank you.
Thank you too. Bye.
Okay. Cheers.
Now.